Yo, it's Come Inside of Me. I'm Tony. Today is Ask Me Anything Monday. I am realizing that I release these podcasts at totally rando times of the day, which is a little nutso butso of me. And I think I'm gonna try to get better about that. Like maybe release them in the morning of the day. But I'm just one person. I'm just one human being doing the best I can, trying to release 3 podcasts a week like a banana in my pants kind of gal. All right. I did want to, whoa, I just saw a crow. I am actually so upset I have no crow friends. Do you know how many crows live around me? Not one of them wants to be my friend. It's upsetting. Like I try to go outside and just vibe, and let the crows know that I'm the kind of person that they would want to get down with, that they would want to bring shiny objects to, that they would want to, I don't know, mimic my voice, but they're not interested. I don't understand why I don't have more woodland creatures for friends. It aggravates me so deeply. And I will say that one of my most toxic traits is being convinced that any wild animal that I run into in the woods would just sense that I am just a good person and they shouldn't eat me. So if I do get eaten by a wild animal, you will know why. It was because of my arrogance. I'll be like, oh, this mountain lion should just totally get it. They should just understand that I'm one of the good ones. All right. I was thinking about this concept of advice today because I have a lot of problems. I have a lot of problems. How about you? No, I have a lot of problems. And one of my problems is with my body. And this is the irony of all the problems with my body is that I do all these somatic sessions with people to help them with their bodies. And then I'm like, oh, I see the problem with your body. Why don't you just do this? And then they do the thing and they're like, I feel so much better. And I'm like, sick, And then I do this work with you and you will feel so much better after you work with me. You should book a session. I mean, that was a shameless plug and I didn't even plan that to be a shameless plug. It's just true. My somatic sessions are the tits. I will help you. I'll genuinely help you. I'm going to give you so much wisdom. My ability to see you is, I think, genuine. My ability to see myself and help myself. I mean, what the fuck? Why aren't I better at it? I truly don't get it. I mean, I get it on an intellectual level. I cannot take my eyeballs and then turn them inside into me. I can't see inside of me. I can only see outside. You know what I'm saying? It's we can't see ourselves fully, even though we are ourselves. There's just this limitation in our ability to see ourselves because our eyeballs are facing out. They're not facing in. And then also, P.S., you don't even know what your face looks like. I mean, you look in a mirror and the way that the mirror shows you your face is actually the reverse of your face. You're just looking at a reverse mirror face, which isn't even your face. So the actual face that people see isn't the face that you're seeing because you're always reversing your face. I don't really understand exactly how it works because I'm not a fucking mirror expert, okay? But I do know that you're not looking at yourself the way other people see you when you look into a mirror. And I don't know if it's the same for pictures, but I'm going to assume it is because that's the assumption I made. So you look it up. But the fact that we can't even see our own faces, we're just seeing the reverse face, the opposite face, the left to the right face. I mean, if that doesn't tell you something. So that's why I'm here to give advice because you don't have eyeballs that turn inwards and you're looking in mirrors rather than being able to project outside of yourself and then see yourself from the outside in. Get what I'm saying? Hence the need for advice. Okay, let's do this. Let's go to the first questione. So the question for your podcast: how can one have a relationship with a parent that does not have a shared history? I was the scapegoat in our narcissistic household. My mother's perception of our history is all based on triangulation that was necessary for her to be more safe in her relationship to her husband. She is still in that relationship. I am at a point where I don't think a relationship is possible. Perhaps a fresh perspective on how to relate to someone so trapped by her own idealization of her relationship and the deification he demanded. She believes him as a saint and I the villain. I don't like this guy. This is a relationship rife with gaslighting. I'm working on setting boundaries, and it's a great opportunity for doing just that. I just can't figure out how to relate to her when I can't begin to guess the past she constructed to get by and avoid the truth of her abandoning her son to insane amounts of abuse. Even with the boundaries, I feel so betrayed and angry, and I don't want to be she. I don't want to be she was a whole person once, and now she seems as just an extension of him. All right, let's get into this. Okay. When you don't have a shared history with a person and you can't come together on reality, it is a very difficult circumstance to build true intimacy because they are more concerned with their story and their perception of self than they are with connecting to you and integrating with you and seeing how your perspective of them has to and must shape their perspective of themselves. Because so often we do something that we don't necessarily see as problematic, offensive, an issue, and someone else has a reaction to it. That doesn't mean that other person is always correct, but we do have to take a moment to analyze, think, question, oh, what is this person's perspective? How are they receiving me? And seeing if that information is worthy of integration. So the mother that is highly prioritizing her relationship to her husband, let's get into that. Prioritizing the husband over the child. Okay, so this is the thing, is that when we live in a patriarchal society where women are property, even though women can work now, of course they can work, this is very deeply embedded in our DNA. So a woman's sense of security is rooted in her relationship to the man in her life because he is going to be the provider. So what this mother is doing, or what your mother is doing, if I'm talking directly to this person, she is terrified of her own sense of safety because she does not feel like she can care for herself. She does not feel like a complete person. She does not feel as if she can be fully responsible for herself. She feels so untethered without the relationship to this man. It's almost as if she would just float off into space without him. Why does she feel that way? It's because of her programming and conditioning. She wasn't born believing that a man has to define her. No, she was taught this. She either witnessed it with her parents or within society, or her self-esteem is so low that she doesn't know how to trust herself without the validation of this man humanizing her. Well, he's dehumanizing her, but she sees it as being humanized because he is the one that is caring for her, making her whole. He may not even be financially supporting her. I don't know what the deal is with that. But for whatever reason, she is very attached to this man being the defining factor of her sense of self. Therefore, the way she sees her son, i.e. you, is more of an extension of her. You know, when you don't see your child as an autonomous being and you see your child as merely a product of you, or just like the acrylic nails of you, you know, like, yeah, I am me, and then my kid who came from me is just like more me. You can really hate your kid if you hate yourself. You know what I mean? And I am not sure if this is your dad or your stepdad. It seems to be a stepdad, right? because he's kind of calling you a villain. You never mention him as your father. So I do think the whole step parent divorce thing is like very, a lot is going on there. One, when you have a contentious divorce and your child reminds you of your partner that you do not have positive feelings for, you will also hate that part of your child that reminds you of your partner. If you hate your partner, if you hate the father of your child, you're going to hate that part of your child that reminds you of the man that you hate. That is going to be something to contend with, you know? So I feel as if this mother has a lot of self-hate and hate towards the father. If this is, yeah, because you say her husband, you never say my dad. Okay, this is definitely a stepdad. Okay. Then the person also says that like the stepdad is demonizing him. Okay, well, when you're a step parent, there is this like feeling of being so threatened by the past life, you know, by the past connections, by the things that are coming in between you and the complete merger of you and that person, right? When you get with someone and there's no child or there's no other, you know, human being in betwixt you, then you can fully merge with them and you can be like, yes, I complete you, you complete me, we are one. But when there is a child involved, there is this like interference in the merging. I'm not suggesting that one should be merging with people all the time. Hello, no, I am not. But I'm saying that a step parent can be very threatened by the human body that is between them and their partner, especially if they don't connect to them. And just because you connect to a woman doesn't mean you're going to connect to their children. In a perfect world, yes. I mean, you would want that. That's what we're aiming for, but that's not always the case. If it was the case, we wouldn't have like 7,000 Disney tales about step parents, right? Specifically stepmothers, which is a whole misogyny thing, but it's real. It's tapping on something real. So this guy's ultimate question is, what the fuck do I do? What do I do? What do I do with my mama? My mama, I love my mama, but my mama is not only rejecting me, she's choosing this man over you. And again, we want our mothers to love us unconditionally. We want our mothers to serve as that being that will just accept us fully and prioritize us fully. And I think that is very misinformed as an expectation, purely because if that was the case, if it was like natural for mothers to just like completely prioritize their children above all else, and that was just like so easy, then we would not be living in this diarrhea city of a world, okay? No, I know we want to say that it is mother nature and the mother will protect her babies over anything, and the mother does this, and look at the lion, look at the mother lion. Well, the mother lion wasn't raised within a patriarchy. Sorry, we're not lions, we're not bears. No, a bear, a mother lion, she can kick ass. Also, she's got like a group of bitches with her to go hunt with. She's not alone. All right. So we can't be like, why aren't we like mother lions? Because we're not. Because A, we live in a patriarchy, and B, you don't have like a pride of lion bitches who are like ready to hunt with you. No, they're not like competing with you. Like, oh, that lion has like softer hair than me, therefore I'm gonna like backhanded sabotage her because I'm jealous of her. That's not existing within animals. A mama bear is pretty fucking strong. You know, like physically strong. She's not like 5'2". She can compete. She is an apex predator. So I just think that we want to think of ourselves as animals, and that like, yes, women just prioritize their children over anything and they throw themselves in front of buses. Some mothers, yeah, most F, but not all. So I think that there is a heartbreak when you're like, wait, why is my mom not the perfect version of mom that has been presented to me from society? Because actually 90% of moms are not the perfect version of mom. She's just some lady who got pregnant and had a child. Yeah, and she's not a fucking superhero. So I think the heartbreak of that, relatable content, everyone feels like such deep heartbreak around the disappointment of their parents. And you're going through some real shit. I'm not like demeaning your real shit that you're going through. I'm saying it's very relatable. And I think you need to really deeply shift your expectations of your mom. You're grown up, it's over. Whatever fucking fart face that happened to you as a kid, thank the goddess it's over. She's with this guy. She's committed to this guy because she's very insecure. I don't know how you're going to be the one to change that for her unless she is ready to do some like come to goddess, come to Kali Ma ceremonies with you. Like, can you convince your mom to go to a shaman and do ayahuasca with you? I don't know. Can you guys do MDMA together and like untangle her deep self-loathing? I don't know. You could suggest it for shits and gigs. Like, hey mom, do you want to do mushrooms together and figure out why you hate yourself? Therefore, why do you hate me? That would be a vibe. But if she's not open to that, I think the shift of perspective would be just to try to get to know your mom as a human being, not as a mother, not as someone who's going to love you more than anyone else in the world, which I'm sorry she doesn't do. I am genuinely sorry. It sucks. It's a stab in the heart, stab in the taint, stab in the butthole. It's like you're impaling yourself from the butthole into the heart when the mother doesn't love you the way you want and deserve to be loved. Okay? I get it. But I like that you say you're working on setting boundaries, and it's a great opportunity for doing that. Agree, 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 agree. But I don't think it's like this is the problem. The reason why she refuses to share your history is because it's going to dismantle her sense of self. And her ego is intact because of how she is like painting the picture of herself. And if she is not open, willing, or able to deconstruct herself with you, that is not your pain to carry. That is actually her pain to carry. Because what a bummer to not really know your son, to not really know yourself, to not really know what is possible between you and your son and your child in terms of love and acceptance and reconciliation and growing and human evolution. I mean, I feel for you, but the deep empathy and compassion should go to her for all of her limitations, because this is a woman who was limited. And that doesn't mean you can't be angry, okay? Of course you're angry. She is a shadow of herself. She's like Peter Pan. Peter Pan's shadow. She's like Peter Pan's shadow that like tied her shadow to this guy who's not even that fucking cool. But again, and you're not the villain. And she's gonna figure this all out, like either maybe like through like very patient conversations. Maybe you could like plant seeds along the way while she's alive. But in death, she will be like, whoa, oopsie doopsie, what did I do? And you might have a very profound relationship with your mother in death. So don't also discount that as a possibility, because that's when you will be able to really connect to her higher self. So this is your pain to bear. And I think the answer is just you acknowledging the deep heartbreak. And if you want to get to know her as a woman on planet Earth, you can do that. But if you can't let go of her being mama and mommy to you, you're going to just forever and continually be disappointed by her. And that's going to be like a stab, stab. And you don't want to use your mother to stab yourself in the heart with. So I do think that maybe one thing that's coming to me that you could do, it's like when you do a little meditation around mama. It's really, I always will go back to like, what the fuck happened to her as a kid? What the fuck was going on with your grandparents? That's my big question to you. Really kind of ask questions about her childhood, ask questions about what it was like to grow up when she was growing up. I don't know if she's a boomer. You seem pretty smart, so you're probably a Gen Xer. I mean, no shade on millennials, but this is a person who has some like kind of sick vocabulary. I'm going to say you're a Gen Xer and your mom is a boomer. I could be wrong. You're definitely not Gen Z. I think you're a Gen Xer. Your mom's a boomer. The boomer generation, highly flawed. But you don't have to be in relationship with her if you don't want to, but it seems like you do want to. So I think just like doing meditations around really understand, like actually research what was it like to be a woman then? And then you'll be like, oh, it was a living nightmare. It was a living fucking nightmare. So, I hope that helps. Okay. Let me know. Oh, this one just telling me when are you coming to the UK. Okay, so Tony, my muse, my guru, and confidant. I had a wet dream last night. For literally the first time since I was 13 or 14. In fact, I only ever had a handful. I like where this is going. I have personally never had a dick and never had sperm come out of this, and so I'm interested in what advice I'm going to give this guy. Since beginning a Taoist practice of semen retention, ayu, is there a better term? Question mark. I've spent long periods of time in semi-arousal and my energy has shifted. But, and this is the most important but, the dream which woke me up with full-on ejaculation in my pants was while asleep, obviously. But my lover, unidentified brunette, was face down and also asleep. I've never even been close. Wait, I have never even close to date raped anyone, but have had consensual wake up sex many times in my love life, which had been dormant for 3 years. I know that many times I have had dreams during which I made love with someone for whom I held deep desires in the real world, but also woken up before the climax, understandably disappointed. Oh, yeah, same. The irony that at the time when I actually want to hang on to the little ones is when they decide to venture out into the night is amusing. But I was slightly concerned that my dream lover was asleep for the whole experience. Anyway, maybe it's just because my ball sack was fit to burst and the last stimulation I had was your podcast, followed by the new show Sirens. Wait, if this guy jerked off to my podcast, I am perplexed and intrigued. Meh. And I've actually not had sex for 3 years. I know. Dream analysis welcome. Probably better you didn't read this on your pod. Oh, I just read it, but don't use my name. I'm not going to use your name. What do I look like, a monster? But you asked me. Of course I'm going to read it on the pod. It's too late now. This is the thing, y'all. I can't read the emails before I read them on the pod. Otherwise, I will be tainted. How am I going to channel the information for you if I read them before? So you must consensually send me the emails that I'm going to read them on the pod. That's what we're doing here. Okay, so since he sent me the email and I read it, we're going to talk about it. I actually really appreciate this guy's like concern about consent, that he had a wet dream next to someone and was like interested in that consent. This is an iconic man. I'm still not clear about the jerking off to the podcast, but what is Sirens? Oh, it's probably maybe a movie. But okay, let's get into the controlling of the sexuality, right? I think there's a lot of thought on controlling one's sexuality because obviously when we're in a pornland culture where everything is so like, yeah, you could literally see so many vaginas in one day that like you could say to yourself, if I see one more vagina today, I'm gonna puke, And that is the porthole to the universe. It is not natural that we should be able to see so many vaginas in one day that it might cause an internal gagging, okay? So we are in a very strange time where we have too much access to genitals, to seeing genitals, to experiencing genitals. I mean, we're in Tinder culture, we're in porno culture, and even though this guy hasn't had sex in 3 years, we're still like deeply saturated in porno culture. You know what I mean? So I do understand there is this kind of desire to be like, I must control my sexuality, because our sexuality does definitely get us in to all sorts of situations. I need to do like a deep straddle for this one. But I also think that religions try to control our sexuality, right? And part of controlling our sexuality is a type of mind control when it's not fully it's like, if you're going to control your sexuality, that must come so deeply from within the self versus being shamed into controlling your sexuality, being told, oh, if you control your sexuality, then this will be the outcome. I think there is this psyop around sex and control that is definitely worth questioning. So I understand it's a Taoist praxis. So like Taoist, Buddhism, like all of these things, I have a deep affinity for Buddhism because Buddhism is a philosophy more than a religion. However, when we engage in these kinds of behaviors, we have to be very clear with ourselves as to what our genuine motivation is. Like, what is it you're trying to achieve by this semen retention? And when that, I think, is unclear, then there is a disconnect between the body and the mind, right? So he's like, oh my God, my body betrayed me. My body's getting like full of sperm and then just like sperming through the night. And like, that's not what I want to be doing because I'm doing this practice. So then there is this kind of disconnect between the mind and the body because the body is doing something that the mind is like, no, we're not doing that. We're keeping the semen in the balls. And I think he said something about like wanting his energy to shift. And he's been in this state in kind of like semi-arousal. So I understand he's kind of like exploring this idea. But I think the greater conversation is around how the body betrays the mind and how the mind can betray the body when we aren't in genuine alignment with intention. And if you're going to just control your sexuality because you're like, and you're not clear why, you're just experimenting, eventually your body is going to challenge you. Eventually your body is going to start bringing up like, like why are we doing this? Like, what's happening here? Is there fear here? Is there shame here? Is there something deeper to unpack? Because I think there is. I think there is so much about our sexuality that we don't understand, that is very unclear to us, is very primal, and is a deep source of like uncomfortability, of shame and uncomfortability. So yeah, like his ball sack, I don't even know if a ball sack works that way. Like if it just gets so full that it just like has to burst out, I think that genuinely his body is trying to communicate to him, hey buddy, why are we doing this? And this is, I think, where we all need to work, present company included, is a deep humility around the conversation with the body. And what is the body really saying to us? Because I've said this before, I'll say it again. The higher self is communicating to your ego through the language of your body. So every issue that is going on with your body, it is not random. It is not random. It is very specific. Okay? So what I really want you to re-examine, my friend, is your motivation for trying to control your sexuality. And are you really trying to control your intimacy? Are you really trying to control how close you get to people? Are you really trying to control something that makes you feel out of control? Like, does your sexuality make you feel out of control? And is that why it scares you? It feels to me there's like a little bit of like fear around the sexuality. And is it because you're scared of getting close to people? Or you're scared of how out of control you feel with your sex? That is what I would ask you, and I ask us all. I know that with me personally, I have felt very out of control sometimes. Just because it was defined. I'll tell you what my issue was, not that you asked. It was that like, well, maybe it was just kind of fun. But also part of it was like something about it was what made the good night, right? It was like if I got laid, it was a good night. It had to do with the male gaze, it had to. All right, let's do one more. Okay. I don't know how long I've been doing this for. I don't want to like go on and on and on. Okay. How does someone get more involved in any endeavor? Obviously, you'll be speaking from your experience, and minimize all the hurdles, roadblocks, and basically shit deals that pop up inevitably as someone tries to establish themselves in any field. How does that person protect their creations while trying to protect it to as much of the world as possible, assuming that was a goal? A big worry I have was in my last field, I was absolutely ahead of the pack and innovating, and it was all basically taken from me because I believed people weren't people, which they clearly are. Oops. But now I'm starting over again and so differently, and I have so many options at this point, I'm frozen with them. And then there's like the shrugging face emoji, but emotion as well. Oh, wait, is emoji stand for emotion? So this is a person that's been betrayed and has trust issues. And this is the thing about ideas and innovation and invention, is that when we feel really like deeply personal, like this is coming from me, then it's going to be a problem for you. When we have this kind of relationship to ideas, that this is part of the collective, this is beyond me, it's deeper than me, and the collective consciousness exists around all of us, and who is like plucking out from the collective consciousness, that is for the goddess to know. But no idea is original, no invention is original. Everything is a conglomeration of knowledge, everything is a conglomeration of the collective. When we see ourselves as conduits for information, and when we see ourselves as conduits for art and conduits for whatever needs to be brought into the world and birthed into the world through our source energy, through our relationship to the collective, then I think we're less possessive. And there's thousands of examples of like things being discovered at the same time and people doing scientific studies at the same time. And I think the problem is that because of capitalism and because of the way society is, everyone wants credit and everyone wants money and everyone needs funding. And in order to do this, I need to be associated with this and I need to have the credit and it's got to be about me and da 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 da. It's not that I don't get that. I am obsessed with credit, okay? Obsessed. I understand what this person is going through on a deep level, but I've had to really check myself and continue to check myself, which is, the thing is that you want the ideas out there. It's not about you, it's not about me. And I've noticed this a lot with like activism, is that people get really possessive about activism or the movement, or like, wait, I've been part of the movement forever and now all these people are like coming in acting as if they've been a part of the movement, but it's me, I'm the movement. But if you want the movement to succeed, you actually have to open up and want everyone to be a part of it and recognize that it was and never is about you. So although I deeply understand like the possessiveness that we have about our ideas, that is just it's coming from brainwashing. It's coming from scarcity. It is coming from this place of wanting us to think everything is so individualized because that's how we commodify it. That's how we patent it. That's how we make money from it, et cetera, et cetera. So I do think there is some spiritual work for this person to do around recognizing that they have to let go of ownership. And when they let go of ownership, things will be more fun again. And I think that their fear right now, their worry is that their ideas are going to be taken from them. But if they remember, like, I am just a channel and so many ideas will come through me and from within me because of whatever intelligence that I happen to be bringing to this table, that I will have more ideas. I am a well of ideas. And when you come from that like place of abundance and complete trust in your own abundance and your own ability to channel source energy and your own ability to get things going, then you'll have fun again. I think while you're paralyzed, it's because you don't trust right now, because you were betrayed. And the betrayal is different. You were betrayed and you weren't honored. And that is a different pain body than like what I think you're presenting. I think what you are really hurt by was the betrayal. And I think that needs to be healed. Like, these people betrayed you because they were jealous. They betrayed you because they were desperate. They betrayed you because they were trying to fit themselves into the status quo of whatever establishment you were in. I mean, you didn't get too deep in it, but like if it's in academia, which is such a competitive environment, or even like science, it's so competitive because everyone's battling over funding. And that is on purpose, that they put us in these circumstances that aren't about creativity. They aren't about really developing things that are going to like elevate us, because that would be problematic to the status quo. I mean, there were these guys that went on Shark Tank with a car that ran on air. Hello, a car that ran on air, and then the sharks bought the car for $5 million, and then the car disappears, including the men who developed the air car. What happened there? You know, it's like innovation is actually incredibly threatening to the status quo. So there are also dark forces against you if you are innovative, but that's another story. But I think that like the more we can just like lose our sense of ownership and sit and like really sit in the mud of the collective, then we're not going to be so attached to everything. And when you're less attached to everything, you are more free. And I am sorry for those people betraying you. So lame. I too have been betrayed. But I also have like more ideas, you know? I trust you. I think you're going to have more ideas. Okay, so now this person's starting again and they're frozen. You are frozen because you're scared of betrayal. You're not frozen for any other reason. And the only way to heal betrayal is, do a little rage work, throw some rocks into water, scream into a pillow, and learn the discernment, learn the discernment of like, it's not that you have to be more protective over your ideas, because if you were actually working with people that were collaborators, they would have added to your idea rather than stealing it, right? Ooh, I'm getting like a deep pain in my ear. I feel like this person has like ear pain. Do you have ear pain? Let me know. But I think you're frozen because of trust. And I think that you have learned something from this, and you're just seeking collaborators, like genuine collaborators. And not everyone knows how to be a genuine collaborator. But when you have a genuine collaborator, then everything gets better. It's like twice as good. Oh, the ear pain that I have is next level. So this person's brain hurts from this betrayal. It's like, it was almost like they were stabbed through the brain from one ear to the other. I'm sorry you were betrayed. I would also ask yourself, where else was I betrayed? Did mommy and daddy betray you? Did a sibling betray you? Like, betrayal seems to be a theme in your life because this bothered you. All right, I think that's good. I think we did some good stuff. Okay, before I go, you could book a one-on-one session with me. You go to my website and you email me and you say, I want to book a one-on-one session, and then we organize it, okay? I don't have some calendar set up yet. I'm going to get there. I'm doing the best I can. So you just email me and then we book a session. Also, I have a Patreon. Support the Patreon. It's on my website. It's on my Tony Naj website. It's on my comeinsideofme.com website. Support the Patreon. I know we're in the midst of a genocide. I know we're in the midst of total global chaos, but like, support my Patreon. Also, it's just a vibe. It's just like, why not? I don't know. I hate asking for things, but also I do give. I give. Asking is so humiliating. But isn't that so funny that this episode is called Ask Me Anything, and I want people to ask me things all the time? What is my problem? I'm going to work on that. All right, I love you dearly. Hope you have a sick ass day. I'm going to release this right now because it's still Monday. Okay. Oh, and please submit your questions. comeinsideofme.com podcast. No, wait, I'm so sorry. What is my fucking problem? You go to the website and you find the email. So comeinsideofme.com website, the email, comeinsideofmepodcast@gmail.com. Send me your question. And don't send me something you don't want me to read on the air. Please, for the love of Goddess. I mean, have we established the rules yet? Like, what do I gotta do? Who do I gotta bone around here to get these rules clear? Okay, love you. Bye. Oh, wait, hold on.